South Africa in the 20th century was a nation scarred by apartheid, a system of racial segregation that brutally divided its people. For decades, the white minority held power, while the black majority suffered under discriminatory laws and limited opportunities. This segregation permeated every aspect of life, from education and housing to sports and recreation. The wounds of the past ran deep, leaving a legacy of mistrust and animosity between black and white South Africans. The African National Congress, a political party advocating for equal rights and an end to segregation, faced constant opposition from the ruling government. Nelson Mandela, a prominent ANC leader, became a symbol of the resistance, advocating for peaceful protest and dialogue. However, his activism led to his imprisonment in 1964, silencing a powerful voice for equality and further deepening the divisions within the nation. For 27 years, Mandela endured the harsh realities of prison life, becoming an international icon of the struggle against apartheid. His imprisonment, however, did not extinguish the flames of hope for a free and unified South Africa. As the years passed, international pressure mounted for his release and the dismantling of the apartheid regime. Finally, in 1990, after years of campaigning and negotiation, Nelson Mandela walked free from prison, welcomed by the cheers of millions who saw him as a beacon of hope for a brighter future. Mandela's release marked a turning point in South African history, signaling the beginning of the end of apartheid and the start of a fragile journey toward reconciliation. The world watched with bated breath as this new chapter unfolded, uncertain of what the future held for a nation grappling with its troubled past and the daunting task of rebuilding a society fractured by decades of racial segregation. Nelson Mandela's release from prison in 1990 signaled a new era for South Africa. His unwavering commitment to peace and reconciliation, even after decades of unjust imprisonment, resonated deeply with people across the racial divide. In 1994, South Africa held its first multiracial elections, a historic moment that marked the end of apartheid and the dawn of a new democratic nation. Mandela's leadership during this tumultuous period was nothing short of remarkable. He understood that true reconciliation required more than just dismantling the legal framework of apartheid. It demanded a fundamental shift in attitudes and perceptions. He recognized the deep-seated anger and resentment among black South Africans who had endured generations of oppression and injustice. Yet, he also acknowledged the fears and uncertainties of the white minority, who were grappling with the loss of their privileged status and the prospect of an uncertain future. Bridging this chasm of mistrust and fear was a monumental task, and Mandela knew that achieving lasting unity would require extraordinary measures. He recognized the power of sports to transcend racial and cultural barriers, having witnessed firsthand its ability to foster camaraderie and shared purpose even within the confines of prison. Rugby, in particular, held a special place in the hearts of many white South Africans, often seen as a symbol of their identity and pride. Mandela understood that embracing this sport, a symbol so closely associated with the oppressor, could be a powerful tool for reconciliation. By supporting the Springboks, South Africa's national rugby team, he could tap into a shared passion and create a common ground for unity and national pride. However, this bold strategy came with significant risks, as it required navigating deeply ingrained prejudices and convincing a skeptical nation to rally behind a team that had long been a symbol of division. Rugby had long been a symbol of white South Africa. During the apartheid years, the Springboks were a source of national pride for the white minority, while black South Africans often viewed them as a representation of their oppression. Mandela's decision to embrace the team was met with skepticism, and even anger from some within his own party. Many questioned how he could support a team that had been so closely aligned with the apartheid regime. Some saw it as a betrayal of the struggle against apartheid, a concession to the very forces that had sought to divide the nation. They argued that true reconciliation required a clean break from the symbols of the past, a rejection of anything that could be perceived as perpetuating the old divisions. The Springbok emblem to them represented a painful history of exclusion and discrimination, and embracing it felt like minimizing the suffering endured by black South Africans. Mandela, however, possessed a rare foresight and an unwavering belief in the power of forgiveness and reconciliation. He understood that true unity could not be achieved through retribution or by erasing the past. Instead, He envisioned a future where South Africans from all walks of life could come together, not in spite of their differences, but because of them. He believed that by embracing the Springboks, he could transform them from a symbol of division into a powerful force for unity. He recognized that sports, particularly rugby in the South African context, had the unique ability to transcend racial and cultural barriers, to bring people together in a shared passion and common purpose. He saw the 1995 Rugby World Cup, hosted by South Africa, as a golden opportunity to showcase the nation's newfound unity to the world, and to demonstrate the transformative power of forgiveness and reconciliation. Mandella's strategy for uniting the nation through rugby was not without its challenges. The Springboks, while a source of pride for many white South Africans, were viewed with suspicion and resentment by a large segment of the black population. To bridge this divide, Mandella knew he had to engage with both sides, to acknowledge their pain, and to inspire them with a vision of a shared future. He began by reaching out to the Springbok players, many of whom were initially wary of his intentions. He met with them personally, listening to their concerns and sharing his vision of a unified South Africa. He emphasized the importance of their role in this process, urging them to become ambassadors for reconciliation, both on and off the field. He wanted them to understand that their victory would not just be a triumph for rugby, but a victory for the spirit of unity and forgiveness that he believed could define the new South Africa. Mandella's efforts extended beyond the rugby field. He traveled the country, speaking at rallies and community events, urging all South Africans to support the Springboks. He emphasized that this was not about forgetting the past, but about building a future together. He called on black South Africans to see the team not as a symbol of their oppression, but as a representation of their nation, a team that now included players of all races, striving for a common goal. He challenged them to embrace the spirit of sportsmanship and to recognize the unifying power of a shared national pride. His message resonated with people across the country, slowly chipping away at the walls of mistrust and resentment that had divided them for so long.